get along with the director of the Ohio EPA. So we need to be able to work together. And usually when you think of the EPA, you think of somebody that's a real pain in the arse. That's English. Yeah. But you're really not as level-headed as I thought, but you're a pretty good guy. Now, we are going to bring up Chief Flowers, and Director Butler did talk about, again, a reason you need to get along with agencies real well. We recently had a fire in Monroe County, the Statoil fire. I'm sure if you're in this industry, you know about it. But it was a devastating fire. But the good thing is no one got hurt. We had minimal impact to the environment because all our agencies get along. And so that's another good reason that if you have a lot of egos that get in your way, you're not going to get anything accomplished. And another good reason that you learn from things that happen. Now, this wasn't a bad actor. This was an accident. And I know Governor Bryant talked about that earlier this morning. There's a big difference. And accidents are going to happen. This is heavy industry. This is big business. And usually the accidents aren't small. And so it's another good reason that this panel works together very closely. So I would like to have Larry Marshall come up. His office is instrumental in making sure that we proceed with a lot of building codes. The Department of Commerce is in charge of that. But also in this part of the state, most of the volunteers, most of the fire departments and emergency personnel are volunteers. And so his office is doing a great job training these volunteers to being able to manage some crises that we may have. So please welcome the State Fire Marshal, Larry Flowers.
Thank you, Director. Good morning. If the alarms should sound, exits to your right, exits to your left. We'll be going out the double doors right here. It is good to be with you, and thank you, Director. You know, I could eat tilapia every day. Pleased to be a part of the panel and representing the Department of Commerce. Representing Director Andre Porter is my boss. And some of you may ask, well, why is the State Fire Marshal's Office in the Department of Commerce? It is because of our wide regulatory authority that we are a good fit in the Department of Commerce. The governor's talked about a lot of firsts. I'm going to give you another first. Ohio was first to have a State Fire Marshal's Office, April of 1900. That may be on a question, trivia or Jeopardy sometime, and you'll have that answer, but the oldest in the nation back in 1900. The Ohio Department of Commerce is committed to fostering a business-friendly environment while continuing to safeguard the lives and property of Ohioans. Director Porter often talks about our job is to keep Ohio safe and sound. As Ohio's chief regulatory authority, the Department of Commerce issues over 600,000 permits and licenses annually. That's 600,000 opportunities to positively impact the lives of the citizens of Ohio. With an eye toward results-focused decisions and customer-focused service, we have streamlined our permitting process as it pertains to the oil and gas industry, and therefore able to assist in creating jobs for Ohioans while remaining responsible stewards of our state. Through Governor John Kasich's executive order, the Ohio Department of Commerce has sole jurisdiction for building code compliance, easing the process for the oil and gas companies. To that end, we've reviewed and adapted how we do business to keep pace with this ever-evolving industry. Here's some examples of how we're doing that. We have created building and fire code plan review checklist that allows for the drilling sites, compressor sites, and the processing facilities. By having one plans examiner as a single point of contact, we can expedite the plan approval process and the code official interpretation. That's one other thing that's nice about the Fire Marshal's Office and the Division of Industrial Compliance and the Board of Building Standards all being under one umbrella of the Department of Commerce. For compressor buildings, we have worked with the Board of Building Appeals to create standard set of variance conditions agreed upon by all companies, thus reducing construction delays. We conduct pre-construction meetings to coordinate inspection coverage between the midstream special inspectors and our state building inspectors. Our building inspectors visit job sites weekly to conduct those inspections, as opposed to requiring their customer to schedule individual appointments through a dispatch center. The Division of Industrial Compliance, the building side of Ohio's efforts, works closely with my office to conduct joint inspections, reducing separate visits and limiting construction delays. We continue to track and monitor project statuses using schedules provided by midstream project managers to ensure optimal inspection coverage. Finally, our field staff consults with ODNR, our counterparts at ODNR, to verify jurisdiction areas with midstream construction activities. Let's talk a while about safety. Fire chief for many years, and an administrator. I'm a recovering legislator. So safety is something that has kind of been at the forefront for me. In addition to those inspection efforts, both the building side and the fire side, one of the 7 bureaus under our jurisdiction is the Ohio Fire Academy. We train first responders at our facility here in Central Ohio, as well as other sites all over Ohio. But we have trained several employees of the shale industry as a part of their fire brigade, their on-site response. This cutting-edge training is tailored to specific challenges of the oil and gas industry. In our most recent capital budget, having reviewed funding, we received funding for training props and equipment to simulate the unique conditions of oil and gas wells. As well, we received, through Governor Kasich's MBR, $3 million for communications equipment for local first responders. Industry has partnered with local first responders to ensure that they have the tools necessary to perform their jobs safely in the unlikely event of an accident. In many cases, paying for the training themselves. With a strong partnership with the oil and gas industry, they have provided training for over 1,100 firefighters in Ohio in a 40-county area, and what we like to call the 77 corridor in eastern Ohio. We maintain an open dialogue with the industry to ensure that we remain flexible to their needs while maintaining our regulatory oversight. In fact, Eric Mize, the Emergency Preparedness and Public Awareness Manager for Midstream, is a member of our State Fire Council, which is an advisory council to my office. We continue to review and revise our permitting and inspection processes to keep pace with the rapidly changing industry, future-focused planning, compliance-focused regulation, and technology-focused solutions. We would like to further streamline the permit process by having one permit regarding the construction of the facility and one permit for the operations of a facility. This process will allow procedures to fall under one of 2 permits, rather than several permits for construction processes and then ongoing maintenance or operation of the vehicle. Again, we'd like to thank you for allowing the Department of Commerce to be a part of the panel. We believe it's an exciting time in Ohio, and we will continue to work hand in hand with our partners. The governor likes to call it shared services, whether you call it shared services, whatever you want to call it. I think we've all gotten out of our silos at the state level and found ways that we can work together. We never thought about working together before. We continue to work hand in hand with those partners represented here to create jobs-friendly environment balanced with the responsible regulation and oversight. Thanks for being here today.